Hello, this is Father Aaron Westman with the Glen Mary Home Missioners, and this is your Missioner Moment. My brothers and sisters, we recognize now that we are in the midst of a pandemic, and we're all searching for different answers, searching for wisdom in the midst of this. And I think that the first reading that we hear this weekend can provide to us in these times a lot of wisdom. That first reading, of course, is the story of the Israelites being freed from slavery in Egypt and going out into the desert. And they're in the desert and they're kind of wandering around and they're hoping and they're waiting for the promised land. Now, it's not easy for them. On the one hand, they don't even really know exactly where the promised land is or what the promised land will be for them. What's more difficult is that they're in a desert. There's scarcity of water, there's scarcity of food, it's hot, and we can imagine, as this happens for them, they begin to lose their patience. They start to grumble, they threaten each other, and even worse ensues. My brothers and sisters, in many ways, in the midst of this pandemic, I think we find ourselves in a similar kind of desert experience. On the one hand, we're waiting for the promised land, and I think we know that the promised land would be that we would be able, as a society, to slow the spread of the coronavirus. But we're not necessarily sure how long this is going to take, and we're not sure what the promised land is going to be for us. What will things look like on the other side of this pandemic? On the other hand, many people have made really drastic and very important measures in their own lives. Social distancing, stopping travel. We have stopped all kinds of sports and large social gatherings. People are choosing to self-quarantine in many ways. And so we find ourselves in a desert. And at first, this can be an easy thing for us to enter into, being brave and courageous, making these decisions. However, as days go by, we could find ourselves like the Israelites, losing our patience, starting to grumble, threatening those around us, or even worse. There's a great article written by David Brooks, who is a columnist for the New York Times, and he says, pandemics can take people's lives, but they can also kill compassion. And what he meant here is that in the midst of a pandemic, as the days go by, people can lose their patience. They can stop seeing the humanity in their neighbor, the dignity in their neighbor. They can start to complain. They can threaten people. They can panic and do perhaps things that are even worse. I believe, my brothers and sisters, that at this day and in this moment, we can all make a decision and say, you know what? As long as we are in the desert, no matter how many days that this might be, I'm going to choose to see the humanity in my brother and in my sister. I think the guiding principle for all of us in the midst of this can be that golden rule which so many religions, including Christianity, hold in common. Do unto others what we would want done unto ourselves. Let us promise this day that we will see the humanity, we will see ourselves in our brothers and sisters, and we will choose to be courageous, to be compassionate, to be patient, and to persevere as long as this will take. And God will bring us to the promised land together.